One comment, one post-game interview, and suddenly, Cotie McMahon found herself in the middle of a major controversy. Did she cross the line with her remarks about Caitlin Clark and the Indiana Fever? Let's break down what happened and why the basketball world is buzzing. But before further proceeding in video, if you're new to the channel, please support by hit that subscribe button for more updates.
Over the last 3 years, you've had some absolute battles with Iowa. What is it about that team that brings out the competitive fire in you guys?
Not gonna get into it all the way, but let's just say they're a little disrespectful as far as, how they view us. So we take that personal, I take that personal. I like to fight on the court. I have that dog in me.
In the world of basketball, words can spread faster than a lightning-quick crossover, and Ohio State's Cotie McMahon just learned that lesson in the most unexpected way. The rising star found herself at the center of a firestorm after making bold, dismissive remarks about Caitlin Clark and the Indiana Fever, remarks that sent shockwaves through the basketball community. What she thought was just another post-game comment turned into a viral controversy that took on a life of its own, leaving her caught in the crosshairs of social media backlash. McMahon, an undeniable force for Ohio State, has always played with passion and intensity, but this time, her competitive fire off the court set off a different kind of battle, one she never saw coming. It all started with a high-stakes Big Ten showdown between Ohio State and Iowa, a rivalry that has only grown fiercer over the years. The game was everything fans could hope for, a heart-stopping thriller that came down to the wire. In the final moments, Ohio State managed to edge out Iowa with a nail-biting 59-58 victory, sealing a win that had the Buckeyes faithful on their feet. Yet, instead of the game itself dominating the headlines, it was what happened afterward that took center stage. During a routine post-game interview with Big Ten Network, McMahon was asked about the intensity of facing Iowa, a team that had been a consistent powerhouse in women's college basketball. Her response was anything but diplomatic. "Not going to get into it all the way," she said, her tone dripping with subtle disdain. "But let's just say they're a little disrespectful in how they view us." Her words instantly caught the attention of fans, analysts, and former players. The dismissive nature of her statement raised eyebrows, but it was what she said next that truly ignited the controversy. "We take that personally. I take that personally," McMahon continued. "I like to fight on the court. I have that dog in me, so I go out there and prove it." The basketball world erupted. Social media platforms lit up with heated debates, reaction videos, and impassioned takes from every corner of the sports community. Some supported McMahon's fiery attitude, saying it embodied the competitive nature of the sport. But others, particularly fans of Caitlin Clark and the Indiana Fever, saw her remarks as unnecessary and dismissive toward one of the biggest stars women's basketball has ever seen. Clark, the #1 overall pick in the WNBA draft, has not only dominated on the court, but has also been a driving force behind the skyrocketing popularity of the women's game. Her record-shattering performances at Iowa, combined with her humble, composed demeanor, have made her a household name. The idea that Clark or Iowa as a whole did not respect Ohio State struck many fans as unfounded, fueling even more discussion. What began as a simple post-game comment quickly spiraled into a full-blown controversy. Suddenly, McMahon was facing scrutiny, not just from rival fans, but from the broader basketball community. Debates raged on about whether her comments were justified, whether they were taken out of context, or whether they crossed the line into unnecessary disrespect. Her record-shattering performances at Iowa, combined with her humble, composed demeanor, have made her a household name. The idea that Clark or Iowa as a whole did not respect Ohio State struck many fans as unfounded, fueling even more discussion. What began as a simple post-game comment quickly spiraled into a full-blown controversy.
You people at home, like the competitiveness, the way that you play is unbelievable. It's so physical. This was a high-level game. You talked about that you guys have put yourself in positions like this all season long, but do you feel like, and especially starting the postseason with a win like this, that has taught you something, that you are a grittier, hard-fought team, that you're okay in moments like this?
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, we had 2 games back-to-back in overtime. I mean, who does that? Like, let's be real. So I mean, just to get through those games and play with just poise and fight, we can do anything. We can do anything.
How about the UCLA Bruins that you'll get tomorrow in the semifinals?
I'm excited.
What made Cotie McMahon's comments even more controversial wasn't just what she said, it was when she said it. This wasn't some offhand remark made in passing. Her criticism of Caitlin Clark came just days after McMahon herself was caught on camera flipping off an opposing team during a heated game. The irony was impossible to ignore. Basketball fans and analysts wasted no time in calling out the blatant hypocrisy, condemning someone else's behavior while exhibiting the very same actions herself. Social media exploded within moments. Twitter, Instagram, and basketball forums lit up with reactions ranging from shock to outright ridicule. One viral comment summed up the sentiment perfectly. Watching someone disrespect others and then try to backtrack after gaslighting? That's a special kind of shameless. Another particularly harsh assessment compared McMahon to another high-profile WNBA rookie, stating, "She's like a budget Angel Reese, but without the charisma to pull it off." The backlash didn't just come from everyday fans. Basketball analysts and former players joined the conversation, with many expressing disappointment in McMahon's poor timing and choice of words. ESPN analyst Rebecca Lobo weighed in, tweeting, "Young athletes need to realize the power of their words. Criticizing someone who has done so much for the visibility of women's basketball is not the move." What made McMahon's comments even more puzzling was the complete lack of evidence backing them up. Reporters who have covered both Iowa and Ohio State for years were left scratching their heads, unable to recall a single instance where Clark or the Iowa program had shown any kind of disrespect toward the Buckeyes. On the contrary, Clark has been widely recognized for her sportsmanship and humility despite being one of the biggest stars in the sport. Sensing the situation spiraling out of control, Ohio State's coaching staff quickly shifted into damage control mode. The very next day, head coach Kevin McGuff released a statement. "Our program is built on respect for the game and for our opponents. We have spoken with Cotie regarding her comments, and she understands that her words did not reflect our team's values. We have nothing but respect for Caitlin Clark and the impact she's had on women's basketball." But by this point, the controversy had already grown beyond the basketball community. It had reached mainstream sports media, with ESPN, Fox Sports, and CBS all running segments dissecting the drama. The backlash was overwhelming and clearly not what McMahon had expected. Less than 48 hours after making her initial comments, McMahon found herself grappling with the intense backlash that followed. Recognizing the impact of her words, she took to Instagram to issue a public apology. "I want to sincerely apologize for my post-game comments. In the heat of competition, I spoke without fully considering the weight of my words. I have the utmost respect for Caitlin Clark and everything she has accomplished for our sport. There is absolutely no room for disrespect in basketball, and I should have been more thoughtful in my choice of words. I see this as an opportunity to grow both as an athlete and as a person." While some fans and analysts appreciated McMahon's willingness to acknowledge her mistake, others remained skeptical. Critics questioned the authenticity of her apology, arguing that it came only after immense public scrutiny. One particularly pointed comment on social media read, "This feels like a cookie-cutter PR move, just giving credit at the end doesn't erase what was said initially." Clark's former Iowa teammates quickly came to her defense, refuting any suggestion that she had shown disrespect. A senior guard expressed strong support, telling reporters, "Anyone who has ever played with Caitlin knows she is one of the most humble superstars in the game. She respects her opponents and has never been one to trash talk. These accusations just don't add up. Single quotes. As the debate continued, footage from past Iowa versus Ohio State matchups began circulating online, fueling the conversation further. Basketball analysts meticulously reviewed the tapes, searching for any indication of disrespect from Clark or her team. Their consensus? Nothing stood out beyond the usual competitive energy expected in high-level collegiate basketball. The controversy eventually prompted Ohio State's athletic director, Gene Smith, to step in and address the matter publicly. "We have always held great respect for the Iowa program and for Caitlin Clark as an athlete. While we stand by our student athletes, we also expect them to represent our university with dignity and sportsmanship. This situation serves as an important reminder of the responsibility that comes with wearing the Ohio State jersey." Meanwhile, McMahon's teammates found themselves repeatedly fielding questions about her comments during their media appearances. Team captain Taylor Tyre attempted to shift the focus back to the game itself. "Our priority right now is our upcoming matchups and continuing to grow as a team. What happens in post-game interviews is in the past, we are looking ahead." What makes this situation particularly significant is how it highlights the evolving landscape of women's basketball. As the sport gains greater visibility, scrutiny has intensified, something male athletes have navigated for decades, but is relatively new for women's sports. With the WNBA and women's college basketball reaching unprecedented levels of popularity, players are now finding themselves under a microscope like never before. The Indiana Fever organization, where Clark now plays, chose to handle the situation with professionalism and restraint. In an official statement, the team made it clear that their focus remained on their athletes and the upcoming season. The Indiana Fever organization is committed to preparing for the new season and supporting our players as they transition into professional basketball. We have no comment on statements made during collegiate post-game interviews. Clark, for her part, demonstrated poise and professionalism by refusing to be drawn into the controversy. When asked about McMahon's comments during a preseason media session, she kept her response brief and focused. "I'm just concentrating on improving my game and helping the Fever win. That's where all my energy is right now." Her composed response did not go unnoticed. Fans and analysts praised her for taking the high road, further solidifying her reputation as a class act. One prominent sports columnist summed it up succinctly: "The contrast here is striking. While McMahon finds herself in the headlines for the wrong reasons, Clark continues to let her game speak for itself." And fortunately for McMahon, the timing of this controversy couldn't have been worse. As a rising junior with WNBA aspirations, she now finds herself under scrutiny not just for her skills on the court, but for her maturity and media presence as well. NBA and WNBA scouts highly value both athletic talent and professionalism, meaning the situation could have lingering effects on her future prospects. Nevertheless, her teammates have stood by her, recognizing that one mistake should not define her. Senior guard Taylor Mickle defended her, telling reporters, "Cotie is a dedicated teammate who truly cares about this program. She made a mistake, took accountability, and is learning from it. That's what growth looks like." Similarly, Ohio State's fan base has largely remained in her corner. While many acknowledged that her comments were inappropriate, they also expressed support for her journey of learning and moving forward.